On the evening of September 10, 2025, conservative activist Charlie Kirk stood before a packed auditorium at Utah Valley University, his voice echoing through the hall as he rallied supporters with his trademark energy and conviction. The event, billed as a celebration of free speech and civic engagement, drew students, faculty, and local residents eager to hear Kirk's message. Security was present, but the atmosphere was one of excitement and anticipation, with many in the crowd waving signs and cheering as Kirk spoke passionately about the future of America. Suddenly, the unthinkable happened. A single deafening rifle shot rang out from a nearby rooftop, striking Kirk and ending his life in an instant. Panic erupted as the crowd scattered in terror, and the event was thrown into chaos. News of the assassination spread rapidly, sending shockwaves not only through the university but across the entire nation, as people struggled to comprehend the violence that had just unfolded in broad daylight. Within moments, first responders rushed to the scene, fighting through the confusion to reach Kirk and tend to the wounded. Law enforcement immediately launched a massive manhunt for the shooter, locking down the campus and transforming the quiet college town into the epicenter of a national crisis. Helicopters circled overhead, and SWAT teams swept through buildings as authorities worked tirelessly to secure the area and reassure a frightened public. The calculated nature of the attack quickly became clear. Investigators found evidence of careful planning at the Losi Center rooftop, where the sniper had chosen a vantage point with a clear line of sight to the stage. The chilling premeditation behind the assassination left both officials and citizens deeply unsettled, raising urgent questions about how such a tragedy could have been allowed to happen. In the aftermath, tributes poured in from across the political spectrum. President Trump addressed the nation, vowing swift justice and calling for unity in the face of violence. Kirk's widow, standing before a sea of mourners, promised to carry on his work and keep his legacy alive, her words resonating with those who admired Kirk's dedication to his cause. Vigils and public mourning soon followed, with thousands gathering at Utah Valley University and in cities across the country. People held candles, shared memories, and reflected on the dangers of political violence. The nation grappled with the sobering reality that even in places meant for dialogue and debate, tragedy could strike without warning. The assassination exposed critical vulnerabilities in public event security, prompting urgent discussions among officials and organizers about how to better protect speakers and attendees. It also forced the country to confront difficult questions about the balance between free speech and safety, and the responsibilities of those who champion controversial ideas. The killing of Charlie Kirk became a stark and painful reminder that heated rhetoric and deep divisions can spill over into deadly action. As the nation mourned, a collective reckoning began, one that demanded not only justice for Kirk, but a renewed commitment to civility, dialogue, and the protection of those who dare to speak out. In the tense hours following the assassination, the FBI swiftly assumed control of the investigation, moving with urgency and precision. The nation was in shock, and the eyes of the world were on law enforcement to deliver answers. Agents worked through the night, combing through evidence, interviewing witnesses, and piecing together the first fragments of a complex puzzle. The pressure was immense, every second counted, and the demand for justice was deafening. The public, the media, and government officials all wanted swift results, but the FBI knew that a single misstep could jeopardize the entire case. Instead of releasing a name, the Bureau made a calculated decision. They shared clear images and video of the suspect, hoping someone, somewhere, would recognize him. The suspect was described as a tall, thin, white male, wearing a black t-shirt emblazoned with an American flag, blue jeans, a distinctive triangle logo cap, and classic Converse sneakers. Every detail mattered, and the FBI made sure the public knew exactly what to look for. These images and descriptions quickly dominated news broadcasts and flooded social media feeds, spreading across the country in minutes. Suddenly, every American became a potential witness, scanning faces in crowds, glancing at strangers, and wondering if they might hold the key to solving the case. By withholding a name, the FBI avoided the chaos of mistaken identity, steering clear of confusion and false leads that could derail the investigation or ruin innocent lives. Instead, they focused the public's attention on what was certain: the suspect's face, his clothing, and his movements. The strategy was simple but powerful: show the face, not the name. Let the public's recognition, not speculation, drive the search forward. Across the nation, millions of eyes studied the images, searching for any sign of familiarity. The suspect's world began to shrink as his face became inescapable, appearing on every screen, every newspaper, and every street corner. The FBI's message was unmistakable. "We may not have your name, but we have your face. It's only a matter of time before someone recognizes you." This approach protected the integrity of the investigation, shielded innocent people from suspicion, and kept the focus squarely on the facts. At the same time, it put relentless psychological pressure on the suspect, who now knew he could not hide from a nation on alert. The entire country was watching, and the sense of urgency was palpable. The manhunt had begun in earnest. From big cities to small towns, people were glued to their screens, united by a single purpose: to help bring a killer to justice. The clock was ticking, and every moment brought new tips, new leads, and new hope. The search was now a race against time. The public became the FBI's most powerful ally, flooding hotlines and online portals with information, determined to help solve the case. The search for justice was no longer just a law enforcement mission. It had become a national movement, fueled by the hope and determination of millions. The FBI's image-first approach, known as the Boston playbook, was honed during the 2013 Boston Marathon bombing. By releasing photos of the suspects, the FBI generated high-quality tips and avoided the chaos of misinformation. The strategy channels public energy into productive action. Do you know this face? It's been used in other high-profile cases, always prioritizing accuracy over speed. In the Kirk case, this method turned millions of Americans into an extension of the investigative team, ensuring only verified facts shaped the narrative. Sharing images instead of names is a masterclass in investigative discipline, and it's a strategy that's been honed over decades of real-world experience. When law enforcement circulates a photo, they're not just looking for a name. They're inviting the public to help confirm what they already suspect, without risking the integrity of the investigation. A photo at the scene is indisputable evidence. It's a direct link to the crime, a visual fact that can't be twisted or misinterpreted. A name, on the other hand, is a conclusion, one that must be absolutely airtight before it's shared, because a single mistake can derail an entire case. Releasing a name too soon invites speculation, harassment, and even vigilante action against innocents. The media can run wild, and social media can amplify rumors, putting innocent people at risk and making it harder for investigators to do their jobs. With images, the public's task is recognition, not guesswork. People can say, "I saw that person," or "That's the face I remember," without jumping to conclusions about identity or guilt. This approach keeps the investigation focused and the suspect off balance. When a suspect knows only their image is out there, not their name, they're more likely to slip up, make contact, or try to flee, actions that can lead to their capture. In the Kirk case, the shooter, Tyler Robinson, may have felt anonymous, but the evidence was closing in. Every image, every piece of footage was another thread tying him to the crime, even before his name was ever spoken aloud. Withholding the name protected the case's integrity and prevented defense arguments about flawed procedures. It also ensured that the investigation could proceed without outside interference or public pressure clouding the facts. Only when identity is confirmed through multiple sources does the FBI release a name, ensuring it stands up in court. This careful process is designed to withstand scrutiny from defense attorneys and the public alike. The image-first strategy is about building a case that leads to conviction, not just arrest. It's about making sure that when a name is finally revealed, it's backed by evidence so strong there's no room for doubt. The FBI's release of the suspect's images unleashed a tidal wave of public response. A $100,000 reward fueled attention, and over 7,000 tips poured in within 33 hours, the largest since the Boston bombing. Many tips were specific and actionable. Friends and acquaintances recognized Tyler Robinson, his clothing, and his cap. Robinson's roommate provided Discord messages about hiding a rifle, directly linking him to the crime. A student reported seeing Robinson on the Losi Center roof weeks before, revealing premeditation. The public's vigilance made hiding impossible, and mounting pressure led Robinson's own father to persuade him to surrender. The case proved that public safety is a shared responsibility. When law enforcement and citizens unite, even the most dangerous criminals can be swiftly brought to justice. The manhunt became a model of community cooperation. While tips flooded in, FBI forensics scoured the crime scene for hard evidence. On the Low-C Center rooftop, they found a palm print, a forearm imprint, and a Converse shoe print matching the suspect's footwear. In nearby woods, they recovered the bolt-action rifle used in the attack, inscribed with political messages, confirming ideological motive. Digital evidence from Robinson's Discord messages linked him directly to the weapon. The combination of forensic and digital evidence built a compelling, airtight case. By the time Robinson surrendered, the prosecution had a mountain of proof. The investigation was methodical, ensuring justice would be based on indisputable facts. Even with a proven strategy and thousands of tips, the manhunt was fraught with challenges. The FBI had to sift through over 7,000 leads, separating credible intelligence from noise and misinformation. Speed was critical, but accuracy was paramount. One mistake could let the real killer escape. Confirming identity required matching physical evidence, digital trails, and eyewitness accounts. The political nature of the crime heightened public anxiety and risked vigilante action. The FBI's disciplined, image-first approach kept the public focused and calm. The successful capture of Tyler Robinson was a triumph of methodical, fact-driven investigation. Certainty, not haste, delivered justice. Charlie Kirk's assassination was the most shocking in a series of escalating political attacks in America. Recent years saw attempts on figures from both parties, signaling a dangerous rise in partisan violence. The attack exposed vulnerabilities in public event security and forced a national debate on balancing openness with safety. Lawmakers and public figures began reassessing their own security, while calls grew to de-escalate political rhetoric. Utah's governor warned that political violence metastasizes, urging restraint from all sides. The tragedy underscored the real-world consequences of dehumanizing language and polarization. Kirk's murder became a symbol of the urgent need to restore civility and community in American politics. The manhunt for Kirk's killer revealed key lessons for law enforcement and society. The Boston playbook, images over names, proved the gold standard for major investigations. Public cooperation was vital. Tips from ordinary citizens cracked the case. The tragedy highlighted the need to address political polarization and rethink security for public figures. Ultimately, the story is one of order from chaos, professional strategy, and community vigilance bringing swift justice. In the face of tragedy, caution, cooperation, and shared responsibility are our greatest strengths. While Kirk's loss is profound, the case offers hope for how communities can unite to uphold safety and the rule of law.